There is a voice inside every man and woman, ancient, primal, burning. It whispers when the alarm rings in the dark and the body begs for comfort. It shouts when failure mocks, when critics circle, when life's weight presses on the chest like a stone. That voice has 3 commands: never quit, never complain, never settle. These are not motivational slogans. They are laws written on the souls of the unbreakable, commandments for those who refuse to die average. History is a graveyard filled with unfinished dreams and half-built towers, ruins of people who quit when it hurt, who complained when it got heavy, who settled when success was just a mile farther. But you were not born to be another headstone of regret. There is steel in your spirit, fire in your marrow. The fact that you're listening now means destiny still expects your name on the roll call of the relentless. Understand this: never quit is not about never falling, it's about never staying down. Blood in the mouth, sweat in the eyes, doubts in the mind, you stand anyway. Never complain is not about denying pain, it's about refusing to grant pain the dignity of your voice. You stare hardship in the face and give it silence, because whining feeds weakness. Never settle is not about impatience, it's about holy dissatisfaction. You can be grateful and hungry, content yet climbing, peaceful yet pushing. Settling is the slow suicide of potential, and you refuse to surrender your birthright to comfort. This hour will carve those 3 laws into bone. You will travel through warfare of willpower, deserts of delay, storms of criticism, and peaks of triumph. We will drink from the wells of Stoic legends, Marcus Aurelius's resolve, Epictetus's endurance, Seneca's composure, then fuse their ancient iron with modern grit. By the end, excuses will be ash, resilience will be reflex, and you will carry an inner creed no storm can wash away. So tighten the armor, square the shoulders, silence every digital distraction. This is not background noise. This is a contract between your present weakness and your future greatness. Repeat it under your breath until the words becomes flesh. Never quit, never complain, never settle. Steel is not born in comfort, it is forged in relentless flame, hammered into shape beneath deafening blows. Your character is no different. Every challenge that confronts you is a furnace, every obstacle a hammer. Weak minds flee the heat, but unbreakable souls step in willingly. Knowing resistance is the only sculptor of real strength. Think of the blacksmith. He does not apologize to the iron for striking it. The blows are not cruelty, they are craft. Likewise, life strikes, financial setbacks, betrayal, long nights with no applause, are not curses but choreography. They beat war song rhythms into your spirit until mediocrity cracks and molten resolve rises. Never quit means you stay in the forge until the shape matches the vision, no matter how long the sparks fly. Now understand this: resistance is precise. It presses exactly where you are soft. If your patience is thin, life lengthens the wait. If your ego is loud, life sends humiliation. If discipline flickers, life delivers storms at dawn. Each blow exposes impurity so it can be burned away. Complain and you cool too soon, warped, brittle, unfinished. Endure and you emerge tempered, edge sharp, spine straight, purpose clear. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Obstacles are not walls, they are weights. Lift them. They break the complacent but build the consistent. When pain intensifies, breathe deeper. When critics shout, tighten focus. When progress stalls, double down on fundamentals, early mornings, clean fuel, ruthless scheduling, deep work, quiet reflection. Engrave this on your inner shield. Pressure is the privilege of those destined to lead. Lesser spirits are spared the furnace because ordinary metal will do for ordinary tasks. But you, destined for extraordinary, must endure extraordinary heat. Every spark today is proof the process is working. Stand firm, eyes forward, heart ablaze. The harder the hammer falls, the finer the edge you gain. Remember, a sword that dreads the forge will never taste victory. Never quit is your battle cry. The flames are your allies, the anvil is your throne. Complaints are the vocabulary of the defeated. Each grumble is an admission of surrender, a public statement that external forces have mastered your internal state. But you are not a sounding board for setbacks, you are a sanctuary of stoic fire. Never complain is more than manners, it is warfare. Seneca taught that suffering is amplified the moment we broadcast it. Words give wounds wider mouths, grievances multiply like echoes in a canyon. When you seal your lips, adversity loses its megaphone. Pain shrinks to its true size, manageable, containable, defeatable. Your silence is not denial of reality, it is dominion over it. Picture two soldiers marching through a storm. One curses the rain, stomps mud, demands the skies obey. The other adjusts his cloak and presses on. Which arrives first? Which conserves energy? Complaints drain the will like open wounds. Discipline stitches them shut. Stoics do not suppress emotion, they tame it, riding the wild horse instead of being dragged. In practical terms, train your tongue. Replace why me with watch me. Swap this is too hard for this is sharpening me. One convert I can't into how can I. Silence is also strategic. Adversaries study your words to find weakness. When they hear none, they face a wall of mystery. Your quiet composure unsettles gossipers. It confuses naysayers who expect drama. Remember Epictetus, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Use them in that ratio. Listen twice, speak half. And when you must speak, lead with solutions, not sorrows. State facts, not feelings. Declare objectives, not obstacles. The world has enough noise, become its rare signal. Let your progress be the volume knob, turning louder with each finished task and closed goal. So when discomfort knocks, greet it with disciplined silence. When delays loom, answer with diligent action. When critics bait you, starve them with your stillness. This is not passivity, it is poise. It is martial calm, the still water that conceals unstoppable currents beneath. Adopt it now. My strength is silent. My resolve is soundless thunder. My discipline needs no applause. Never complain. Speak only what builds, commands, and cures. Let the rest die on your lips before it weakens your spirit. To settle is to quietly sign your soul over to mediocrity. It doesn't announce itself like quitting, it whispers. It shows up in phrases like, maybe this is enough, or at least I'm not as bad as them. Settling is dangerous because it wears a mask of contentment while slowly draining your greatness. You are not designed to survive, you are born to expand, to break through limits, to build, to refine, to rule over your assignment. Settling cuts that story short. It chains lions to a cage built by comfort. It makes champions forget they were warriors. Never settle is not about blind ambition, it's about sacred responsibility. If God has placed something in your spirit, shrinking it is disobedience. Look around. The world is full of people who almost went for it, who nearly tried, who kind of cared. Their dreams died quietly because they accepted less than what they were called to become. Settling is quitting in slow motion. Think of how gold is found. It's deep, under pressure, behind layers of rock and time. If the miner stopped after one swing of the axe, he'd have left greatness buried. Are you walking away too soon because the digging got difficult? You're not just cheating yourself when you settle, you're robbing the generation that needed your light, your discipline, your vision, your courage. It isn't just for you, it's for your bloodline, your community, your legacy. Settling forfeits more than comfort, it aborts purpose. So stand tall, raise your standards again. Revisit the vision that once lit your bones on fire. Get angry at comfort, get allergic to average. Never settle. Let that be your anthem when the easy way calls your name. Strength isn't proven by how loud you speak or how fast you rise. It's proven by how long you last. Endurance is the quiet trait of warriors, the ones who wake up every day and train without applause, the ones who bleed in silence and show up with consistency when no one's watching. The world respects a finisher, not a starter. You don't need hype when you have hunger. You don't need a crowd when you have calling. Every time you endure, you tell life you can't break me with time. Quitting is easy, anyone can do that. Complaining is common, it's the language of the average. But endurance, that's reserved for the elite, the disciplined, the unshakable. Every moment you choose to stay in the fight, when you had a reason to quit but didn't, you build a different kind of strength. Not just muscles or skills, but integrity, stamina, grit. That invisible armor forged in pain and pressure. Understand this, your future is hiding on the other side of keep going. Some doors only open after you've knocked 1,000 times. Some breakthroughs only happen after your feet are blistered and your voice is hoarse. People admire talent, but what moves them? Endurance. The mother waking up at 4 a.m. to build. The student grinding in silence while others scroll. The athlete training alone in the rain. That's real power. That's how you earn your roar. So tattoo this on your mentality. Don't chase motivation. Train your endurance. One is a feeling. The other is a foundation. Winners outlast storms, not because they're stronger, but because they decided to. Never quit. Excuses are seductive lies dressed as logic. They wear the outfit of reason, but they carry the poison of regret. Every excuse you give oxygen steals breath from your dream. You don't fail because of lack of time, money, or connections. You fail when you believe your excuse is bigger than your purpose. There will always be a reason not to train, not to study, not to speak, not to start. But here's the truth. Excuses will wait by your bed every morning. Only discipline can drag you away from them. Excuses feel safe. They protect your ego. They let you blame something else instead of taking responsibility. But champions don't trade truth for comfort. They expose the lie and move anyway. Think of this. You'll never meet a legend who talks about how valid their excuses were. You'll meet warriors who fought through hell with nothing but a decision. They weren't stronger, richer, or luckier. They just refused to listen to the voice that said, stop. You must become a ruthless editor of your own narrative. When the story starts sounding soft, cut it. When the voice says, just this once, reply, not today. When the feeling says, no one would blame you, respond, that's not who I am. This is your identity now. I destroy excuses. I delete doubt. I grind when I don't feel like it. I lead myself when no one claps. Say it, repeat it, embody it. The battle isn't with the world. It's with the part of you that wants to shrink, delay, and justify weakness. Kill it early, or it will kill the vision you once cried out for. You are not made for mediocrity. And excuses don't belong in the mind of a king. Never complain, never quit, never settle. Discipline is the invisible throne kings sit on. It is the crown worn in silence. In a world addicted to comfort, the disciplined man becomes a lion among sheep. People respect talent, but they follow consistency. They applaud charisma, but they bow to character. When you master yourself, you don't just rise, you rule. Discipline is the bridge between vision and reality. You can dream all day, write goals, post affirmations, but if your habits are weak, your kingdom will collapse. Discipline says, I move whether I feel like it or not. It is the soldier's mindset, the craftsman's focus, the prophet's devotion. Don't get it twisted. Motivation is seasonal. It comes and goes like a breeze. But discipline is an unbreakable spine. It holds your body up when your mind says collapse. It gets you up at 5 a.m. It keeps you building when no one claps. It silences every excuse with one command, do it anyway. You want power? Get disciplined. You want peace? Get disciplined. You want to win this war against weakness, distraction, temptation? Then wake up and train your will. Every day, without exception. Because here's the secret. The man who conquers himself can't be conquered by the world. You master your cravings, you master your thoughts, you master your reactions, and you become untouchable, unshakable, immovable. The world bows to that man, not because he's loud, but because his life speaks. His results scream, his habits preach. He doesn't need to say much. His walk commands attention. His presence silences rooms. If you truly want to rise, kill the noise, train your focus, sharpen your spirit. When others fade, you endure. When others complain, you create. When others sleep, you build. Because discipline doesn't just make you better, it makes you dangerous. No one climbs a mountain without pain. No warrior enters battle without scars, and no legend is born without suffering. The truth is, pain is the price of becoming. Every time you hurt, every time you feel pressure, resistance, and discomfort, you're being shaped, molded, refined, not destroyed but designed. You prayed for strength, didn't you? Then don't reject the struggle. You asked for greatness, right? Then stop running from the fire. It's building you. The pain isn't there to break you. It's there to reveal you. To test if you mean what you said when you whispered dreams in the dark. When you feel like giving up, understand this. Quitting guarantees that the pain was pointless. But if you push through, if you endure just one more round, the pain becomes purpose. It becomes progress. It becomes power. And you rise not in spite of it, but because of it. You can cry, but don't quit. You can bleed, but don't bow. You can fall, but never stay down. Warriors fall with honor and rise with intention. Every time you feel like collapsing, tell yourself, this is the cost, this is the climb, this is the path of the chosen. And here's the most powerful truth. Everyone wants the crown, but few will carry the cross. Pain is the price of transformation. Growth is ugly, growth is lonely, but growth is necessary. And if you endure, if you walk through the flames without folding, the world will have no choice but to respect your fire. The greatest version of you is waiting, just beyond the pain. But you'll never meet him if you quit now. So stand tall, breathe deep, embrace the pressure. Because diamonds don't come from comfort. They come from pain that didn't win. You think this is just about you? It's not. Your fight, your grind, your growth, your pain, it's bigger than you. Someone is watching your journey, silently hoping you don't give up. Someone needs to see you keep going, not because you're perfect, but because you didn't quit. You are someone's inspiration in the making. The way you rise from failure, the way you walk through the fire, the way you refuse to break when everything inside you is begging to stop. That's legacy, that's leadership. You don't have to have a crowd behind you to be leading. Sometimes the greatest leaders are forged in solitude, in the shadows, where no applause echoes. Just the sound of your own heartbeat telling you, keep going. Your battle is generational. Your discipline now breaks chains your bloodline carried for decades. Your mindset shift rewrites stories your ancestors couldn't finish. You are chosen, not just for personal victory, but to unlock doors others couldn't even find. This is why the weight feels so heavy. It's not just yours. Every step forward is defiance. Every act of discipline is rebellion against weakness. And every time you refuse to complain, refuse to settle, refuse to die with potential still inside you, the universe takes note, heaven takes note, hell fears you, and those who come after you will thank you. So don't ask if the road is hard, ask if it's worth it. Because when the purpose is bigger than the pain no longer wins. Your story is not just survival, it's a blueprint for others to follow. Be that blueprint. Be the reason someone else says, if they didn't quit, neither will I. You don't even know how many lives you're changing by refusing to fold. So keep going. For them, for you, for what's coming. If you're feeling alone right now, good. That means you're on the right path. Greatness is lonely. It always has been. Because the higher you climb, the fewer people can breathe at your altitude. Most people stay at the base of the mountain, trading dreams for comfort and approval. But not you. You are called to rise. People won't understand your discipline. They'll call you obsessed. They'll tell you you've changed, and they're right. You have changed. You've stopped explaining yourself. You've stopped making room for people who weren't willing to climb with you. You've stopped shrinking to fit into the life you've outgrown. Isolation is not a punishment, it's a preparation. God separates before he elevates, and in this silent season you're not being abandoned, you're being refined. The noise is gone so you can hear your own heartbeat. The distractions have fallen away so your vision can sharpen. So when you feel left out, when the phone doesn't ring, when the rooms get quiet, remember, diamonds aren't formed in crowds. They're formed under pressure, in darkness, in stillness. That's where your greatness is being shaped. The cost of your calling is losing people who were never meant to go where you're going. Let them go. You're not crazy for wanting more. You're not too much. You're exactly what this generation needs. And if that means walking alone, then walk with your head high. The world doesn't remember the followers. It remembers the ones who walked first. You want to be strong? Then stop running from pain. Because pain is the gym of your soul. Pain is the mentor nobody asked for but everybody needs. It breaks you open just so it can rebuild you stronger. The greatest version of you is hiding on the other side of what you're trying to avoid. Pain teaches you things comfort never could. It reveals your limits and then dares you to shatter them. It shows you who's real and who's only around when life is easy. It strips away the fake smiles, the shallow goals, the weak excuses, until all that's left is truth. Raw, unfiltered. You. Some of your deepest growth will come from your deepest wounds. Not because the pain was fair, but because you chose to rise anyway. Pain isn't personal, it's purposeful. And if you don't let it destroy you, it will become your power. So don't resent the struggle. Don't curse the storm. Let it shape you. Let it refine your focus. Let it teach you resilience. Because once you've survived enough pain, you stop fearing it. You stop being controlled by fear of failure, rejection, or discomfort. That's when you become dangerous. Not to others, but to weakness, to excuses, to every generational curse that said you wouldn't make it. Pain may have been the weapon used against you, but now it's the tool that sharpens you. You don't need comfort to grow, you need truth. And pain is often the loudest truth you'll ever hear. Don't waste it, use it. Motivation is a spark. It burns bright and fades fast. One bad day, one missed opportunity, and it disappears. That's why winners don't depend on motivation, they build discipline. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't need the perfect mood, the perfect weather, or the perfect support. It shows up anyway. You think champions feel like training every day? You think they're always inspired? No. What separates them is the decision to do it even when they don't want to. That's where real growth begins. In the repetition. In the obedience to a standard when no one is watching. In doing the work because you said you would. Motivation is emotion. Discipline is decision. Stop praying for more motivation and start asking for more self-mastery. Because the truth is, most of your breakthroughs won't feel good. Waking up early won't feel good. Saying no to distractions won't feel good. Pushing through the pain won't feel good. But discipline doesn't chase feelings. It chases results. Your future is shaped in the moments no one applauds. It's formed in private when your emotions say quit, but your purpose says keep going. It's in those quiet, grinding hours when discipline becomes your identity. And once it becomes who you are, not just something you do, you'll never be the same. Don't wait to feel ready. You'll waste years. Don't wait for someone to cheer you on. Start now, start small, but start with discipline. Because the person who trains without applause will walk into their future with unshakable confidence. You won't just hope for results, you'll expect them. Discipline isn't punishment, it's freedom. The freedom to control your life instead of letting your emotions control you. If you want to achieve greatness, you must learn to master one of the rarest traits in today's world, delayed gratification. The ability to say not now to a quick pleasure in order to say yes to a long-term reward is what separates the average from the exceptional. The weak settle for comfort today. The strong build for a legacy tomorrow. Look around you. We live in a culture addicted to instant results. Fast money, fast fame, fast fixes. But the truth is, anything that comes fast usually fades even faster. Real transformation, real mastery, real greatness, that takes time. It takes patience. It takes the ability to endure seasons where you don't see results yet, but you keep showing up anyway. This is where most people quit, in the waiting room between planting and harvest. But if you want to win, you need to understand this law. You never reap in the same season you sow. Every effort you make, every sacrifice you endure, every late night and early morning, it's a seed. It might not bloom today, but it will bloom. And when it does, it will be worth everything you gave up for it. So train your mind to think long-term. Remind yourself, I'm not doing this for today. I'm doing this for the future me, the version of me that's stronger, wiser, more powerful. That future version of you is counting on you to delay comfort and chase purpose. Delayed gratification is not deprivation, it's preparation. It's saying no to short-term distraction so you can say yes to long-term elevation. It's resisting the urge to be seen now so you can be remembered later. Champions aren't made in comfort, they're made in commitment. The longer you can wait, the bigger the reward. So delay the applause, delay the ease, delay the pleasure. And keep pushing, because everything you're building in silence is preparing you for a breakthrough the world will never forget. One of the hardest truths you must embrace on your journey is this. Not everyone will come with you. Some people will walk away, some will misunderstand you, others will watch in silence, waiting for you to fail. But if you want to fulfill your calling, you have to be willing to do it alone. Too many dreams die in the waiting room of approval. People delay action, waiting for applause, support, validation. But champions aren't built in crowds, they're forged in solitude. The most powerful moments in your life won't be when everyone is cheering you on. They'll be in the silence, when you decide to keep going even though no one sees you. Ask anyone who ever achieved something great. There was a season they were unseen, unheard, and uncelebrated. And yet, they didn't stop. Why? Because they weren't working for the crowd, they were working for the calling. When you are truly called, you can't be stopped by isolation. You use the silence to sharpen your focus. You use the absence of voices to strengthen your inner voice. Don't be afraid to outgrow people who are never growing with you. Sometimes elevation requires separation. Not because you think you're better, but because you know you're destined for more, and not everyone is willing to pay the price that greatness demands. So train when no one's watching, show up when no one is clapping, build when no one believes in it yet, because eventually the world will catch up to what God already put inside you. And when that day comes, you won't need to say a word. Your results will speak for you. Don't wait for company to chase your destiny. Run your race. Walk your path. Be willing to be the only one if it means being the real one. Silence isn't weakness. It's a sign of strength. Deep, immovable, unshakable strength. In a noisy world where everyone is shouting for attention, the one who remains calm commands the greatest power. When you're silent, you're not ignoring the noise, you're rising above it. Most people waste their energy reacting. They argue, defend, explain, and complain. But when you understand your purpose, you don't have time for noise. You don't waste your breath trying to prove your worth. You let your actions, your discipline, and your peace speak on your behalf. Champions don't yell to be heard. They move in silence and let the results do the talking. There's a reason the most dangerous storms don't make noise until they strike. There's a reason real lions don't roar until it's time to conquer. The same is true for you. The more focused you become, the quieter you get. The more powerful your mission becomes, the less you need the opinions of others to keep you going. Silence isn't about doing nothing. It's about doing the right things without seeking approval. It's about building behind the scenes. It's about choosing progress over praise. While others are distracted by applause, you're busy sharpening your sword. While others are looking for attention, you're building attention-worthy results. And when your moment comes, and it will, you won't need to announce it. Your transformation will be loud. Your discipline will show. Your consistency will shine. People will wonder where you came from, but they didn't see the quiet hours, the lonely days, the silent nights where you stayed locked in on the vision. So embrace the silence, welcome the stillness, use the quiet to grow. Because when the storm you've been building in silence finally moves, it will move mountains. Every day, a silent war is waged inside you, a battle between your discipline and your distractions. This war doesn't happen once, it happens every hour, every minute. The battlefield is your mind, the weapon is your focus. And the enemy? Every excuse, every temptation, every comfort that whispers, it's okay to take it easy. You don't lose your greatness overnight. You lose it in small compromises. You lose it when you scroll instead of study, when you snooze instead of rise, when you choose comfort over growth. The problem isn't that you're incapable, it's that you keep surrendering in the small moments. But here's the truth. Discipline is won in the shadows, in the unseen, uncelebrated moments. You must learn to protect your focus like a warrior guards the gate, because distraction doesn't look like a threat. It looks like fun, it looks like rest. It disguises itself as just 5 minutes, and before you know it, days, weeks, months are gone, and the life you were meant to build is still waiting for you to fight for it. Discipline is not about doing what you feel like, it's about doing what you're called to do, regardless of how you feel. You will never always be motivated. That's why you must become disciplined. Because discipline is reliable. Discipline shows up when emotions are absent. Discipline shows up even when motivation is silent. So the next time you're tempted to delay, to escape, to indulge, pause, remind yourself, every choice I make is a vote for the future I want or the comfort I crave. Which will you choose? This is your moment to reclaim your power, not through noise, not through hype, but through ruthless consistency. Discipline is the difference between a dreamer and a doer, between good intentions and a transformed life. Win the small battles, win the invisible war. Because the victory in the dark is what creates the light the world will one day see. There will be seasons in your life when no one notices your effort, no praise, no spotlight, no applause. You'll be grinding in silence, working on your dreams while the world moves on, unaware of your struggle. And in those moments, doubt will whisper, does any of this even matter? That's when you must learn one of the greatest disciplines of all, clapping for yourself. You must become the kind of person who doesn't wait for validation, who doesn't depend on encouragement to stay committed, because if you only show up when people are watching, you're not doing it for growth, you're doing it for attention, and attention fades, but purpose endures. Champions don't train for cheers, they train for results. They train when the gym is empty, when the lights are off, when the motivation is gone, and only the mission remains. The strongest growth happens in solitude. It's in those quiet hours, those lonely early mornings, those late nights filled with fatigue and doubt, that something inside you begins to harden, strengthen, mature. Your destiny doesn't require an audience. It requires discipline. And if you can't keep going without the crowd, you'll never reach the stage. So when no one claps, clap for yourself. When no one believes in you, believe deeper. When no one sees your effort, work anyway. Because you're not building for attention, you're building for greatness. And one day, when you walk into the life you worked for, people will ask, how did you do it? They won't realize you clapped alone, fought alone, trained alone, but you'll know. And that's what will make your victory sacred. Let this sink in. The most important approval you'll ever need is your own. Every time you avoid discomfort, you're postponing the person you're meant to become. Growth and pain are twins. They arrive together, they walk together, and they produce transformation together. But most people run from pain. They want change without challenge. They want elevation without pressure. But here's the truth. You can't grow without friction. Think of a seed. For it to become a tree, it must be buried, broken, and pushed through dirt. That darkness, that resistance, it's not punishment, it's the process. And the same applies to you. The pain you're facing is not designed to destroy you, it's there to develop you. That frustration you're feeling, it's stretching your patience. That betrayal you suffered, it's sharpening your discernment. That heartbreak, it's teaching you the power of healing and boundaries. Every tear you've cried, every setback you've endured, every closed door you've faced, none of it is wasted. It's all part of the fire that forges the future you. But you must stop running. Stop numbing yourself with distractions, excuses, and temporary pleasures. If you keep avoiding the hard conversations, the lonely seasons, the heavy lifting, you'll keep circling the same mountain. The version of you that you're dreaming about is on the other side of the pain you're avoiding. Lean in, get uncomfortable. Welcome the discipline of challenge. Because it's not supposed to feel easy, it's supposed to feel like growth. And years from now, you'll look back and thank the pain, not because it was pleasant, but because it produced power in you. Your life doesn't rise to the level of your dreams, it rises to the level of your standards. What you tolerate becomes your normal. And many people aren't failing because they lack desire. They're failing because they're living beneath their standards. You can want success. You can want peace, strength, impact. But if your daily behavior is not aligned with high standards, you'll always fall short. Standards are not goals. Standards are the minimum level of behavior you refuse to fall below. Let's be clear, if you want excellence, you must stop tolerating mediocrity from others and especially from yourself. If you say you want focus, then distractions can't be welcome guests in your life. If you claim you want to grow, then comfort zones can't be your home. If you say you value discipline, then inconsistency cannot be acceptable. Every decision you make is either raising your standards or lowering them. When you allow yourself to slack just this once, you're training your brain to compromise. But when you demand more from yourself, when you show up even when it's hard, you send a message to your future. I am not available for anything less than greatness. Standards are what you uphold when no one is watching. They're the foundation of identity. They're the reason champions look different, not because they're lucky, but because they've raised what they're willing to accept. So take inventory today. What are you tolerating that's beneath you? What habits, thoughts, people, or environments are keeping you from operating at your highest level? It's time to raise the bar. Your life will follow the level of your discipline, your mindset, and your personal standard. Your future isn't built in fantasies. It's built in the small, non-negotiable standards you uphold daily. Don't wish for more. Expect more, demand more, and become more. You were born with potential, but potential is just untapped power, a seed that will rot if never cultivated. And the bridge that carries you from potential to power is one word: discipline. Discipline is what converts intention into transformation. Everyone has ideas, everyone has dreams, but only a few will pay the price to become what they were called to be. That price is daily discipline. It's the uncomfortable, repetitive, unglamorous process of showing up, doing the work, and denying distractions, not once, but over and over again. You cannot pray your way into success while living in disobedience to your potential. God gave you gifts, but He also gave you responsibility. And the difference between the people who make an impact and those who don't is simple. The impactful ones don't negotiate with excuses. When discipline becomes your lifestyle, momentum starts to build. You stop waiting for motivation and start relying on your own standard. You no longer ask, "Do I feel like it today?" You say, "This is who I am, and this is what I do." Discipline is the internal fire that doesn't flicker in the wind of doubt. It's what keeps you training while others are sleeping, what keeps you studying while others are distracted, what keeps you focused when no one is clapping, and what carries you through when the applause fades. Without discipline, your gifts remain dormant, your influence stays small, and your destiny is delayed. But with it, you become unstoppable. Not because you're better, but because you're built for this. You've trained your soul to follow purpose, not comfort. So look at your life today. Are you walking across the bridge of discipline or standing still at the edge of your potential? Your greatness is waiting on the other side, but it won't wait forever. Cross the bridge, build the habits, live the code, and let your discipline do the talking. Respect is not claimed, it's earned. And not when people are watching, but when nobody sees you. The quiet hours, the lonely nights, the sacrifices behind closed doors, that's where legends are made. You want people to respect your work? Then master your discipline when no one is clapping. You want them to value your voice? Then refine your voice in the silence. You want to stand in power? Then first kneel in practice. The world honors results, but God honors the process. And real success is built on the kind of consistency that happens when there's no camera, no validation, no feedback. That's where the work becomes sacred. That's where you're tested not by others, but by your own standard. Because the truth is, everyone wants recognition, but very few want refinement. Everyone wants the crown, but few want the crushing it takes to wear it with weight. But discipline doesn't care about the stage. It respects the process. It's the personal promise you make to your future self. I won't abandon you in moments of weakness every early morning you get. Up and train your craft every temptation you resist, every hour you spend preparing when others are playing. That's respect in the making. That's legacy in motion. You don't have to shout your goals. Let your work whisper for you. Let your excellence become so undeniable that even your critics can't deny it. But that starts in secret. It starts when no one is watching. It starts with a decision. I will show up for my calling, no matter who's in the room. So if you're feeling unseen, good. That's your training ground. That's your holy ground. And if you honor the hidden season, the day will come when what was built in secret will shine in public. Respect begins in the shadows. Don't run from them. Rule in them. There is a silent war being waged inside every great person, a war between comfort and calling. One whispers, "Take it easy, you deserve rest," while the other thunders, "You were made for more." And every day you must choose who wins. Comfort is seductive. It tells you tomorrow is better. It says success will come without sacrifice. It tempts you with shortcuts and applauds your excuses. But your calling, your divine assignment, requires pain, discipline, and persistence. It requires you to rise even when you're tired, to believe even when there's no proof, to keep moving forward when everything screams to stop. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. It's disguised as safety, but it slowly robs you of power. While comfort hides you from failure, it also hides you from victory. You weren't made for ease, you were made to build, to overcome, to stand out. That voice inside that pushes you to go harder, that's your calling, reminding you that you are meant to break the limits, not live inside them. When you feel the pressure to quit, understand this: you're not weak, you're at war. You're standing at the edge where average stops and excellence begins. That resistance you feel is proof that you're headed in the right direction. Growth doesn't come in silence, it comes through tension, pressure, and resistance. You must decide, will you bow to comfort or will you rise to your calling? Winners feel the same fatigue, the same fears, the same doubts, but they choose differently. They choose to be uncomfortable now so they can live with honor later. They sacrifice the temporary so they can hold the eternal. Your calling is louder than your comfort if you have the courage to listen. So today, choose your side. Comfort is cheap, but calling will cost you everything and give you everything in return. You can dream the biggest dreams. You can write down goals that look like mountains. But when the pressure hits and life tests your discipline, you won't rise to the level of your goals. You will fall to the level of your habits. Your daily habits are the quiet architects of your future. They shape your character in the unseen hours. They determine whether you build a life of discipline or drift into a life of regret. It's not about what you want, it's about what you're willing to repeat. If your habits are built on comfort, distraction, procrastination, and emotional reactions, then no goal, no matter how grand, will survive. But if your habits are rooted in self-control, focus, consistency, and resilience, then even your smallest efforts will compound into greatness. Look around you. The most successful, driven, impactful people didn't just wake up one day and achieve everything. They trained themselves through routine. They understood that motivation fades, but habit remains. They made their routines stronger than their emotions. If your goal is to be mentally strong, ask, what are you doing daily to train that strength? If you want to be spiritually deep, what are your consistent spiritual disciplines? If your goal is to lead, what habits are building your leadership today? This is not about perfection, it's about consistency. It's about showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it, even when it's boring, even when no one's watching, because that's what builds your foundation. Want to know the future of a person? Don't look at their goals, look at their habits, their morning, their night, their conversations, their reading, their responses. That's where destiny is being written, not in dreams, but in discipline. So today, ask yourself, what habits are forming the future you say you want? Excellence isn't something you stumble into. It's not something that happens when the stars align or luck shows up. Excellence is a decision you make every day in the small, unseen moments. It's how you show up when no one's watching. It's how you speak to yourself when your goals feel far away. It's how you treat your craft, your body, your time, your energy. Excellence is not about being the best in the world. It's about being your best even when no one sees it. The problem is, too many people chase events of excellence. They wait for one big opportunity, one breakthrough, one perfect moment. But champions understand the opportunity is always in the ordinary. It's in today. It's in the next choice. It's in how you carry yourself when nothing exciting is happening. Excellence isn't about being perfect, it's about being committed. When you do what you said you'd do, when you finish what you started, when you refuse to cut corners even when no one will notice. That's where character is built. That's where legacies are formed. So don't just hope to rise to excellence one day. Live it today, speak it, walk in it. Let your work, your attitude, your actions reflect a person who doesn't need applause to stay committed. Because when excellence becomes your standard, not your goal, you will no longer need validation. Your work will speak for itself. We live in a generation addicted to comfort, and because of that, many will never taste greatness. Why? Because greatness requires pressure. Greatness demands discomfort. It thrives in the fire, not the lounge chair. Every time you choose comfort over challenge, you're building a weaker version of yourself. You're trading potential for ease. And here's the brutal truth, you cannot grow and stay comfortable at the same time. Comfort tells you, sleep in, you deserve it. Discipline whispers, get up, your purpose needs you. Comfort says, take the shortcut. Excellence responds, do it right. Even if it's hard. Comfort screams, avoid pain. Growth says, push through, there's gold on the other side. The question is, which voice are you listening to? Everything you want, mental toughness, spiritual power, mastery, leadership, it all lives outside your comfort zone. And the longer you sit in comfort, the softer your spirit becomes. Champions choose the discomfort of discipline over the regret of ease. They know that comfort never leads to greatness, only to mediocrity. So if it's uncomfortable right now, good. That's where growth begins. Embrace it. Lean into it. That pain you're feeling is the breaking of old limitations. Don't retreat, advance. Stop comparing your journey to someone else's highlight reel. You are not behind, you are being prepared. You're not late, you're being shaped for something that requires more depth, more patience, and more strength than surface-level success can handle. Delay is not denial, it's development. You see, if you got everything you wanted right now, without the character to handle it, it would destroy you. God's delays are not rejections, they are refinements. The waiting season is the training season. The silence is where the roots grow deeper. The battles are where the armor is forged. Your season of hiddenness is not wasted. Every day that feels stuck is really a setup. Every closed door is protection. Every delay is divine timing. The enemy will try to convince you you're behind, that others are doing more, that you've missed your moment. But hear this, you're not on their timeline, you're on God's. And He's not late. He's building something in you that platforms can't give and people can't take away. So stop rushing, stop doubting, stay faithful in this season. Because the ones who win in public are those who never gave up in private. You are not behind. You're being prepared. Everyone wants to do something great. Everyone wants the spotlight, the breakthrough, the applause. But what most people miss is this. Greatness isn't born in big moments. It's forged in the mundane. It's what you do when it's boring, when it's repetitive, when no one is clapping. That's where the warriors are built. That's where champions separate themselves. Because anyone can be motivated for a day. But true greatness is built in quiet consistency. David killed Goliath in public, but he mastered his sling in private, watching sheep, hitting rocks, staying faithful in the field. Jesus performed miracles before thousands, but he spent 30 years in obscurity, working, learning, waiting. The miraculous always flows from the mundane. You don't wake up one day powerful. You become powerful by honoring today's small assignments. You don't become wise in a day. You cultivate wisdom by quietly learning, praying, reflecting when no one notices. So stop looking for shortcuts. Stop despising small beginnings. Stop waiting for something big to prove you matter. Instead, master the moment you're in. Sweep the floor like it's your mission. Write that sentence like the world depends on it. Train when no one is watching. Speak life when no one responds. Love when it's hard, give when it's costly. If you can be excellent when it's mundane, God will trust you with the miraculous. Your life is the fruit of your focus. Your strength is not just what you fight, it's what you feed. Every day, you are either building your discipline or weakening it. Every word, every thought, every action is planting something. And what you continually feed will grow stronger. If you keep feeding distraction, your purpose will starve. If you keep feeding comfort, your character will shrink. If you keep feeding negative thoughts, your joy will wither. But if you feed focus, hunger, and discipline, your life will reflect power. The question is, what are you feeding daily? Are you feeding excuses, or are you feeding excellence? Are you feeding your fears or your faith? Because everything in your life is either being fed or starved. You can't serve both comfort and calling. You can't water weeds and expect roses. You can't keep giving energy to drama and still expect clarity and peace. Cut off what drains you. Starve the thoughts that sabotage your growth. Refuse to indulge the behaviors that weaken your soul. And then, nourish the things that elevate you. Speak life, read truth, move with purpose. Surround yourself with people who sharpen you, not distract you. It's not complicated. What you feed grows. What you starve dies. So today, make a decision. Be intentional with your thoughts, your time, your conversations, your environment. Feed what's aligned with your future, and watch your inner world rise. The loudest war you will ever fight happens between your ears. Thoughts are not harmless. They are narrators that either fuel you or finish you. You have two internal broadcasters, the critic and the coach. The critic is loud, negative, petty. It reminds you of every failure, magnifies your fears, rehearses your insecurities. The coach is calm, commanding, unwavering. It challenges you to rise, reminds you who you are, and repeats the mission. Both voices speak, but only one gets the microphone you hand it. Understand, you can't stop negative thoughts from knocking, but you can refuse to let them camp in your head. You choose your narrator by what you rehearse. When the critic says, "You're not enough," the coach counters, "I'm still growing." When the critic screams, "Quit," the coach whispers, "We're just getting started." Discipline your mind the same way you discipline your body. Reps, resistance, routine. Feed your coach daily. Read truths, declare affirmations. Surround yourself with language that builds, not breaks. Starve the critic. Ignore gossip. Mute negativity. Exit conversations that drag you backward. Because whatever voice you nurture becomes the soundtrack of your destiny. Choose wisely, your future is listening. Identity isn't found, it's formed. It's sculpted through daily repetition. Every disciplined act chisels a new line into your character. Every time you say no to distractions and yes to purpose, you reinforce the structure of a warrior mentality. The brain rewires itself to match repeated behavior. Neuroplasticity at work. That means you don't need to feel like a champion to become one. You become a champion by acting like one until your brain no longer knows the difference. Want confidence? Practice confident actions. Want courage? Do the difficult thing repeatedly. Eventually, what was once forced becomes automatic, identity encoded into habit. Repetition is the hammer that beats identity into existence, but inconsistency is the thief that steals your progress. Skipped reps equal cracks in the foundation. Stay relentless. The world will label you based on yesterday. You rewrite the label with today's actions. Keep chiseling until your reflection matches your vision. Enough is a moving target. The moment you settle, growth halts and decay begins. An infinity mindset understands that mastery is a horizon you pursue but never fully reach. There's always another level of clarity, strength, impact. Never settling isn't greed, it's gratitude expressed as stewardship. You honor your gifts by stretching them. This doesn't mean perpetual dissatisfaction, it means perpetual evolution. Celebrate milestones, but don't camp there. Use victories as fuel, not furniture. The minute you start coasting, complacency creeps in wearing a comfort robe and slippers. Remind yourself daily, arriving is an illusion, becoming is endless. Carry holy hunger, peaceful heart, restless vision. Appreciate the climb, but keep ascending. Complacency is a silent assassin, vigilance is your guard. Never settle for yesterday's best when destiny demands today's better. Momentum compounds like interest. A single disciplined day seems small, but stack hundreds and you witness exponential growth, the discipline dividend. 1 hour of reading today becomes a library of wisdom in a decade. One workout evolves into generational health. One saved dollar transforms into financial freedom. Compounding works in both directions. Neglect compounds too. Skipped workouts, ignored prayers, wasted dollars metabolize into weakness, drift, debt. Every choice is a deposit or a withdrawal from your future. Decide which account you're funding. Think long-term. Let discipline pay you dividends time can't erode. 10 years from now, what story will your habits tell? Write a legacy ledger that accumulates value with every sunrise. Your discipline isn't only about you, it's a torch you'll pass. Children, students, teammates. Someone is watching your walk, learning how to live. When you refuse to quit, you teach perseverance. When you reject complaints, you model emotional mastery. When you never settle, you enlarge their vision of possible. Legacy is not what you leave to people, it's what you leave in them. Your unseen sacrifices become their inherited standards. Break cycles so the next generation starts where you finish, not where you began. Carry the fire through your battles, then hand it off brighter than you received it. We've journeyed through resistance, silence, pain, patience, and purpose. Now the creed stands carved in stone: never quit, never complain, never settle. This is not a slogan, it's a covenant, a code of honor between your current self and the giant inside you. A vow to defy the gravitational pull of mediocrity. When fatigue whispers, stop, answer, I don't speak that language. When pain roars, break, respond, I bend, then rise. When comfort offers a chair, say, I'm not done climbing. Carry this code into every dawn. Let it govern your habits, anchor your emotions, fortify your mind. The storms will come, critics will circle, delays will stretch. But the unbreakable live by codes, not conditions. And those who do become the signal in a world drowning in noise. So tighten your laces, square your shoulders, walk out of this hour and into the rest of your life with a fire that cannot be extinguished. Never quit, never complain, never settle. The world is waiting for the echo of your discipline. Go give it reason to tremble.